It's 20 degrees in the van. It's ice cold. I was not cold last night. And I'll share with you some of the things I did to beat the cold. You see it's ice cold on the windows. And I was not cold last night. Not cold at all. One of the best winter tips for staying warm is a mummy sleeping bag. I know a lot of people don't like being closed in because like a mummy, you feel dead. But this thing will keep you extremely warm if you live in your van, your car, your SUV. I live full time in my mini camper van, and this is how I stay warm. So my tip number 2 for staying warm in the winter when you live in your car or your vehicle or van, in my case, a mini camper van, I live in my mini camper van, is to get you 1 or 2 blankets. It might be a sleeping bag, something that keeps you warm. I've heard people give the tip that you should get a lot of blankets and everything like that. And that may work for some people. The problem with having too many blankets or things like that is that you see in such a small space. So I have my sleeping bag, my mummy sleeping bag, and my fleece blanket. Those are the only 2 blankets that I use. I use the mummy sleeping bag, and you see how tightly they can fold up. And these, I just have them in here for the purpose of showing it to you all, the audience. But these usually are in a zipper bag back in my trunk. I have plenty of room back there in my trunk. And so that's usually where I have them. And so let me give you a better look at these, okay? So as you can see, that sleeping bag, how tightly it just balls up. It could almost be a pillow. And really, I just did it really fast. And if I had taken my time, it could ball up even smaller. Same with this mummy sleeping bag. Let me just show you the mummy sleeping bag. Sorry about that. And if you hear the wind. Okay, that's with the mummy sleeping bag. And you have 2 things. I absolutely think, and the mummy sleeping bag also, I did it really fast, but it can really ball up. And the thing about doing just 2 blankets or even 1, if you can just do the mummy sleeping bag, that's fine. Sometimes I know people say they don't want to be, encased or, in a mummy sleeping bag, you are a mummy, so to speak. So some people don't like that, and it doesn't bother me, but some nights I don't need to be zipped up in the mummy sleeping bag. So in that case, I get in the mummy sleeping bag, cover up a little bit, and then I use this purple royal blanket to cover, so no air gets in on the sides if I'm not completely zipped up in a mummy sleeping bag. So tip number 2, bedding. It's better to layer up and then get 2, like a sleeping bag and a blanket. And the reason why, because your layers, you can fit your layers, they're easier to store. For instance, in my van here, if you'll see here, I have, this is a zipper pillowcase, and this is where I keep my layered stuff. I also have another pillowcase that's layered, and so I keep the stuff in there, and it's easier if you layer up to keep warm and then get you 1 good sleeping bag and 1 blanket. That's going to save you space and also keep you warm. So that's tip. My first tip for staying warm living in a van is something my grandmother used to say all the time when we were growing up, and she would say, layer up. And layer up is such common sense, right? Not as a child, but as an adult, you layer up. So living in a van, and if you don't want to use butane, propane, or a diesel heater, and in a mini camper van, that stuff, you really could get yourself in trouble using that stuff. I know somebody, a friend's mother left propane in the trunk of her car, and she didn't fare too well. She didn't die, but I'll just leave it at that. She didn't fare too well. So for me, the first tip is to layer up. And again, this is such common sense as an adult. It's something many of us have been told all of our childhood. Now, what I have here, and excuse my van, I just came from the laundromat. This is a zipper pillow, and you all will see this zipper pillow fold up in a minute. So what I do is I put my layer up clothes in this pillowcase, and I take them off when I get up in the morning and go shower. So my first tip to layer up is just jogging pants. You can't beat jogging pants. It's funny because these pants have shrunk, so I cut them just so I can put all my other layers under them. So what I use is, here is some leggings, and then these are some loose fitting pants. So if it's really, really cold, I go with this layer, I go with the leggings, and I go with the cut jogging pants. Okay, that's my layer. Also, I put y'all probably noticed in these videos that I love scarves, but some of my cheaper scarves, I wear them at night, just like you could say in the house. I'm in my van house, and this is one of my cheaper scarves. So at night, I put this on my neck, just to stay warm. This is one of the layers. Then, this is like one of my favorite sweatshirts. I woke up like this. I paid $1 for this sweatshirt at a store, not at a thrift store. I don't even like to say Walmart, but I paid $1 for this sweatshirt. And this sweatshirt is so thick and just, it's everything in this van. It's one of my favorite because it keeps me really nice and warm. This is a hoodie. So I rotate between, this is a hoodie right here. And I love these shirts here. I paid $1 for these shirts at Walmart. These are like V-neck, like tank top type shirts. Here's another one. And I rotate. So when the green one gets dirty, I rotate out to the pink. And then here's my hoodie. This is one of my favorite hoodies as well. This is my orange hoodie. I have a green one like this. So when the orange one gets dirty, I rotate out to the green one. I'm upset. I think I left my green one at my storage. So I just washed this. So I'll be rotating out. This jacket I've had for years, and it's just like a zip up jacket, a workout jacket. It also is very, very warm, keeps me very warm in the van. I just dropped my good stuff on the floor. Finally, we'll layer up. I wear hats in the van. Whatever hats I don't wear out. Just found this hat in my storage, of course. And I sleep with hats in the van, like on my head. I put something on my head. Even that hat with the cap thing on it is very warm. Let me come back.